Chapter 9, Sentence Construction. Sentence elements. Phrases. A phrase is a group of related words without a subject and a verb. They may be used to modify nouns and verbs. In this case, modify means to describe. The two main kinds of phrases are prepositional phrases and verb phrases. Examples. Verb phrase. Surah should work together with Rabab on the assignment. Okay, should work together is a verb. The verb is would, and the phrase is should work together. It does not have a subject, and it does have a verb. Prepositional phrases don't have subjects or verbs. One of the pilots is not trained for the mission. Okay, of the pilots is a prepositional phrase. Of is a preposition, and pilots is the object of the preposition of. The subject of this sentence is one. One is not trained for the mission. Okay, so Jack and Jill went up the hill. Okay, up the hill is a prepositional phrase. Up is a preposition, and up the hill is the whole phrase. Hill is the object of the preposition up. Clauses. Clauses are a group of words that contain a subject and a verb. If the clause expresses a complete thought, it is a sentence and could be called an independent clause. If the clause does not express a complete thought, it is called a dependent clause. It depends on something else to make it whole. Example. Roxy returned my call. It has a subject, Roxy, and returned, a verb, and it makes complete sense, so it's an independent clause, also known as a sentence. Amaris made an A on the paper. That is also an independent clause. It has a subject, Amaris, and a verb, made, and it makes complete sentence. Okay, if you leave your number, Karen will call you. If you leave your number is a dependent clause. It needs the rest of it. Carolyn will call you in order to make that complete. So, when the package arrives is also a dependent clause. It needs the rest of it to make it complete. Side note, if the dependent clause comes in the beginning of the sentence, a comma is used at the end of the clause. If the dependent clause comes at the end of a sentence, no punctuation is needed. Example, when Erica goes to the store. That has a subject, Erica, and goes is the verb. But it doesn't make sense by itself, so it's a dependent clause. And it comes in the beginning, so you have to put a comma before you finish it out. On the other end, it says Erica will buy milk when she goes to the store. When she goes to the store is still a dependent clause. It has a subject, she, and the verb, goes, but you don't put a comma because it does not come at the beginning of the sentence. Parallel structure in sentences. Words, phrases, or clauses within a sentence that are related in meaning should be written in the same grammatical form. This makes them parallel. It also makes the sentence easier to read and understand. Example, I like to hike, bike ride, and to go swimming. Should read, I like to hike, bike ride, and swim. So here we have a verb, and then a prepositional phrase. But on the correct one, we have a verb, and a verb. There are more examples on page 149. Try your skill. We will ski and we will be climbing mountains on our trip. That one should read, we will ski and we will climb mountains on our trip. Because that way we have ski, which is a verb, and without the ing, or climb without the ing. Or we could say, we will be skiing and we will be climbing mountains on our trip. Either one of those is fine. Next one, Sabrina couldn't decide whether to buy a laptop or to spend money on software. This one should be, Sabrina couldn't decide whether to buy a laptop or software. That's really easy because she's already going to buy. She's going to buy a laptop, a noun, or software, a noun, instead of all these extra words. Number 3, Maria is looking for someone who is courteous, dependable, and considers others' feelings. This one's kind of easy because we have Marie is looking for someone who is courteous, which is an adjective, dependable, an adjective, and we should say considerate with an adjective. Cecilia's career interests are advertising, modeling, and to be an actress. This again has the adjectives. So Cecilia's career interests are advertising, modeling, and acting. Parallel list. Errors in parallelism occur frequently with enumerations. That's when you number things. All related elements must be stated in the same grammatical structure. Example, Jody's past experience includes the following task: keying the original copy and proofreading first drafts, saving documents, printing and proofreading hard copy, retrieving and revising documents. Every word that starts on this list is a verb, and it's an ing, and ing. That makes it parallel in construction. Correlative conjunctions. The same grammatical structure must follow conjunctions that appear in pairs, such as both and, either or, neither nor, not only, but also. These pairs are called correlative conjunctions. Example, Violet serves not only on the Board of Education, but also she is on the PTA. That one should read, Violet serves not only on the Board of Education, but also the PTA. Here we have a complete clause after but also, and here we have not only the noun, but also the noun. Dangling and misplaced modifiers. A modifier is a word, phrase, or clause that describes another word in the sentence. To clarify the relationship between the modifier and the word it describes, the modifier must be placed in the correct position. If the modifier does not logically describe any word in the sentence, it is called a dangling modifier. If it is not close enough to the word it describes, it is called a misplaced modifier. Don't really care if you know what they're called, just as long as you can put the modifier where it needs to be. Examples. This is wrong. Lying on the desk, Amy found her jewelry. This means that Amy was lying on the desk because that's the closest one too. But Amy was not lying on her desk. Here's the correct way. Amy found her jewelry lying on the desk. Now it says the jewelry is lying on the desk, and that is correct. Next one. Mara bought a canary for her friend that sings beautifully. This one says friend sings beautifully. And here it really means the canary sings beautifully, not her friend. So it should read, Mara bought her friend a canary that sings beautifully. Now the beautifully describes the closest thing to it, which is the canary. Try your skills. Okay, rewrite the following sentences correctly. You can stop the tape for a minute. We saw a 4-car accident driving to work. Okay, let's do this. Was the accident driving to work? No, it was not. So this should say, driving to work, we saw a 4-car accident. Johnny learned to use the new software, appearing somewhat doubtful it would increase efficiently. So this one's telling you the new software appeared somewhat doubtful. I don't think so, because software can't appear doubtful. So this should say, appearing somewhat doubtful if it would increase efficiency, Johnny learned how to use the new software. Number 3, drooling with anticipation of the treat, my daughter rewarded Bella with a dog cookie. Well, I don't think my daughter was the one drooling with the anticipation of the treat, but Bella was. So this should read, drooling with anticipation of the treat, Bella was rewarded with a dog cookie from my daughter. Or you could anything that says Bella right after the drooling with anticipation of the treat will be fine. Okay, number 4. Digging fingernails into his palms, Jerry's speech caused nervousness and sweatiness. Jerry's speech did not dig his fingernails into his palms. So this one should say Jerry's number 4 is a little bit harder. It says digging fingernails into his palms, Jerry's speech caused nervousness and sweatiness. Well, Jerry's speech didn't cause the nervousness and sweatiness. It's Jerry giving the speech caused nervousness and sweatiness. So you could maybe rewrite it this way. When Jerry gave a speech, it caused him to dig his fingernails into his palms because he was nervous and sweaty. Or you could figure out another way to reword it, just as long as you don't say the speech caused the nervousness. Number 5, gasping after the race, the bottle of water quenched Juan's thirst. Well, the bottle of water was not gasping after the race. Juan was. So you could say something like, Juan's thirst was quenched by the bottle of water when he was gasping after the race. That would work. Bias-free language. Bias-free language avoids insensitive language regarding gender, race, ethnic group, age, religion, or disability. To classify secretaries, elementary school teachers, or nurses as women, or pilots, farmers, or police officers as men would be to stereotype occupations. To treat women and men fairly, follow the rules. Rule 1. Use the plural pronouns they, them, theirs, their, or theirs, or nouns such as people or persons when referring to a group that consists of both men and women. Example, salespersons must have their weekly reports completed by Monday. Not salesmen or saleswomen, salesperson. Rule 2. Rewrite the sentence to avoid using pronouns if it is possible to do so without affecting the meaning. You could do this by saying, sales reports are due on Monday. Now we don't have any pronouns, so it's not biased. Rule 3. Shift the sentence to a second person. Example, as an employee, you are responsible for reporting expenses correctly. Now we just put it as you, which is either men or women. Rule 4. If you must use a singular pronoun, use both he, she, and his, her. Do not overuse these expressions. They can become annoying. Example, each salesperson must have his or her report completed by Monday. Rule 5. Use parallel phrasing if you must refer to people by gender. Use women and men, females and males, boys and girls, or ladies and gentlemen. You would not say men and girls or women and males. Example, all the boys and girls were happy at the birthday party. The club is open to both males and females. This one's pretty easy. Rule 6. Use business terms that do not imply the gender of a person. Instead of businessman, use a business person or professional. Instead of a stewardess or airline steward, you now call them flight attendants. Chairman could be the chair or the group or leader. Foreman could be supervisor or manager. Housewife is now a homemaker.